Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the first episode of the Degen Docs. What are the Degen Docs, you ask? Just two healthcare professionals, girls, to the first working on with a little, as you could tell, first episode, right? So we're just two healthcare professionals that love talking ball, love talking football, and are going to be talking injury analysis. Two dudes who met 5 years ago in physical therapy school and realized we quickly had a similar love for degeneracy. So that's what we're going to share for you right now. So my name is Sebastian Fearon. I am the OG SGPN football doc here, and I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Derek Bennett, Mr. Professor Locks. How are we doing, brother? What are you thankful as we get ready for this Thanksgiving holiday? Mr. Derek Bennett.
Hey, man, I am doing absolutely fantastic. What am I thankful for? Basically, hey, man, I am doing the opportunity to do this with you and to watch a few great games tomorrow, a game Friday, and hopefully win a little bit of money.
There we go. Absolutely, baby. How can we not be thankful for? We got, starting tomorrow, we got really 4 or 5 days of football, awesome action. We got 3 NFL games tomorrow. We got one on Black Friday, first ever NFL game. We've got Sunday, and of course, we've got Monday. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off. First portion is we are going to go ahead and talk injury news, injury analysis, the biggest fantasy football injury news and analysis. So we're going to run it from the top here. We're actually going to bring up an article here over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. And Derek and myself, we are going to go through it together here. Let's see. All right. So first up, we have Mr. Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals with a wrist tendon ligament tear. So at this point, we kind of know, we saw after you threw that touchdown pass, he looked like he was in clear pain. Go ahead, Mr. Professor Locks. What do we got there? What are we thinking for Joe Burrow? Obviously out for the season. How you like him as far as outlook for next season? Go ahead and unmute your mic, brother. Derek, unmute your mic. Derek, unmute your mic.
Hey, my bad. Yeah, so Joe Burrow, he has a torn wrist ligament, like said. So basically what that means is he's going to have an awful time trying to grip the ball, awful time trying to throw. So he's going to have surgery. He's going to be out for the remainder of the season. You might as well drop him. But he should be good to go this time next year. Even by training camp, he should be ready to roll.
All right, so Mr. Joe Burrow, obviously with that wrist tendon, he's going to be out. Should be good to go by next season. No confirmation on what ligament exactly it is, right? So there's a bunch of small ligaments in the wrist, so it's one of those situations where we're not going to guesstimate, but either way, out for the season. All right, another guy, Mark Andrews, who's potentially out for the season. He's got a little bit of a chance to return there. Picked up a high ankle sprain, and with the high ankle sprains, when they have enough damage, it can actually fracture your fibula, one of the outside bones there. So that's what he's dealing with. It was originally said he's going to be out for the season, but, based on the surgery he had, there's a potential he's got a chance to come back. It would really require a deep run by the Ravens for him to come back. So what are you thinking, Derek? Do you think we see Mark Andrews? We know he's done for the fantasy football season, but do you think he comes back at all for the Ravens? So what are you thinking, Derek?
Yeah. No, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. As far as the injury itself, high ankle sprains typically take a lot longer than lower ankle sprains to heal, especially to get back into football shape. So, like you said, he's done for the remainder of the regular season. If they get to the AFC Championship, Super Bowl, he may be able to come back, but it's really hard to say at this point. But for fantasy purposes, he's done. He may be able to
Perfect. All right, moving along. Let's talk about some guys that were the true meat and bones of this show is going to be talking about guys that are truly questionable this week, guys that we have a little bit more concern about. Obviously, Burrow, Andrews done for the year, but let's go ahead and talk about Mr. Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings, dealing with a hamstring injury situation where I would say, he's a lot more questionable in the case of going to play. He's been out for 7 weeks now. So, what are you thinking, Derek? We've seen him say that he's not going to come back unless it's 100%. You see him being 100% by this. So, what are you thinking, Derek? We've seen him say that he's not going to come back unless it's 100%. You see him being 100% by this. So, what are you thinking, Derek? Let me see. Yeah, Jamie, I appreciate you calling out the echo in the background. We're going to see if we can get that figured out here in a second. Figuring out why that's echoing with us, but we're going to roll along here. So with Mr. Justin Jefferson, obviously limited practices. I think until he gets a full practice, it's going to be a situation where it's a bit difficult to really expect him to do a lot there on the field. He said multiple times, listen, my health is more important than your fantasy teams, was his famous quote. So he's someone that I think that we may be waiting a little bit more to see if he's going to be back on the field. I'd say it's about 70% chance that he does not play, 30% chance that he does. I think a post-bye week, the Vikings are on the bye next week. I think that's way more likely. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to Cooper Kupp there. We saw he was picked up a little bit of an injury while he was blocking, actually. A defender kind of ran into him, kind of caused his ankle to sprain a little bit, twist a little bit. So he's dealing with a low ankle sprain. He did not practice today, but again, for guys that are playing on Sunday, the Wednesday injury reports are really something you got to take with a grain of salt. You got to make sure that, you don't put too much stock into the Wednesday injury reports. So yes, he did not practice today, but I still think he has a chance to be able to play. You don't put too much stock. What are you thinking there, Derek? Yes, he did not practice today.
I'm getting a ton of echoing, so I may be in the wrong spot here, but as far as Cooper Kupp goes, I think that's where you were at. I may be in the wrong spot here, but I think you continue to monitor him. Luckily, he's not playing until Sunday. If he's ready to go, if he continues to be a participant in practice, or if he is a participant in practice, if he starts, if he's playing, it's hard to not start him. But with his injury history, they may want to keep him out for a week just to make sure everything's good to go with that ankle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cooper Kupp's one of those guys where, you gotta start your studs, right? If he's going to be in the lineup, I think you have to take him there in an Arizona matchup where he's going up against a pretty poor secondary. It's a must-win situation. Mr. Jamie, cheers, brother. Thanks for joining us in the chat. If you got any questions, obviously let us know. I agree with you there, Jefferson. Why risk it if the Vikings won't even give him a contract, right? All right, we're going to move along here. We are going to go ahead and we are talking about next. I think we are moving into guys that is for this Thursday night slate. So we've got an awesome Thanksgiving slate, something to be thankful for. So we're going to go ahead and we are first going to start with Mr. Geno Smith, dealing with an elbow injury where he's listed as questionable, but the expectation is he's going to play. What are your thoughts, Derek? What should we expect on Geno Smith?
Yeah. With Geno, I mean, especially being a quarterback, obviously he's going to be throwing all evening, and elbows are crucial when it comes to the throwing motion. But Geno actually did come back in after the injury last week, and he started pushing him down the field a little bit. But I think he'll probably be okay unless he takes a hit directly to that elbow again. They've been fairly cautious with him, it sounds like, this week practice-wise. But Geno's a vet. He knows their system. He knows how to game plan, especially for a division rival. So I think Geno should be set up pretty well this week as long as he protects himself back there in the pocket.
Yeah, good. I like it. Yeah. I think the biggest thing was they said no structural damage was found. So that's the biggest thing. He might be dealing with a little bit of pain, a situation where he might be a little bit limited. He's definitely got a little bit of a tough matchup, but no Hufanga for the 49ers there, that star safety tore his ACL. So that makes his life a little bit easier. What does not make his life easier is not having his RB1 in Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is going to be doubtful. I don't expect him to play at all. I expect him to be out actually for a couple weeks with an oblique strain. It was said it was fairly serious, something that we definitely want to monitor. What are you thinking as far as Kenneth Walker with his oblique strain? When do you expect us to see him back? For a couple weeks with an oblique strain. It was said it was fairly serious, something that we definitely want to monitor. What are you thinking as far as Kenneth Walker with his oblique strain? When do you expect us to see him back?
Yeah, with so again, I'm still getting some fuzz there. But anyways, Kenneth Walker, I would expect him to be out at least this week on a short week, even potentially next week. He's probably going to be a monitor. But yeah, with the obliques, it's going to be hard to twist, cut, turn, do it really anything when it comes to the running back position. So he's going to be a crucial part to hopefully playoff runs in the fantasy realm. But over the next couple of weeks, don't expect much out of Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all. We appreciate you fighting through us with this echo. We understand that there is a little bit of feedback, but we're obviously going to keep rolling here. So we're going to talk about this last guy here, Aaron Jones. I will take him. So running back for the Green Bay Packers. So, obviously Aaron Jones has been a little bit of a mess this year. It's been a situation where he was dealing with a hamstring injury early on. He picked that up on the way to the end zone in week 1. He's been in and out of the lineup. And unfortunately, last week he went down with an MCL sprain. Good news is, out of all the ligaments in your knee, MCL is probably the best ligament to injure as far as it has the most vascularity, the most blood flow, so it has the most healing potential. So although I don't expect this to be a super long-term injury, he's already been ruled out. Probably the fact that he was called week to week tells me it's likely a grade 2, which is more of that 2 to 4 week range. So he might return sooner than that 4 weeks, but he's going to be limited up until that point. So Aaron Jones and really that whole Green Bay backfield is someone you probably want to stay away from, definitely this week and most likely in the future. A.J. Dillon also dealing with a groin injury there. All right, we're going to roll into now. We're going to talk about the fun part of the show. We are going to give you some actionable news. We are in the giving mood with the holidays. We are going to talk about an underdog play, the underdog pick'em that myself and Mr. Professor Locks has created for you all. But before we do that, I want to tell you about Underdog. Underdog Fantasy has the daily pick'ems where it's either higher or lower. They are an awesome site because they've also added these spicy takes where, hint, we might have a couple showing up here, but it is, not just the usual 1-to-1. It allows you to go up to 100x. And then the best part about this is we're giving you away some free money. So all you got to do is use the promo code SGPN. That's SGPN over on Underdog Fantasy, and they will match your initial deposit up to $100. It's as easy as that. Both Derek and myself has done it. You just put SGPN in that promo code, and the first time you deposit money, boom, up to $100. It is a free $100 for you to spend. Now that we've made you a free $100, we're going to go ahead and make you some more money with our daily Degen prescription of the day, right? So daily dose of Degen keeps the doc away. So this is what we are going to start with. 2 picks from myself, 2 picks from Derek. We're going to run through them and tell you why we want to make you 12.5 to 1 richer. All right, so we're going to start off with Mr. David Montgomery, running back for the Detroit Lions. We're going to go higher on his fantasy points. So I think this is going to be a big Montgomery game going up against a beat-up Green Bay Packers defense. I think Montgomery is showing that he's just getting healthier and healthier. And as he continues to get healthy, I think he's a touchdown machine. Devondre Campbell for the Packers is beat up. That whole secondary is beat up. I think the Lions play with the lead. I think they lean on Montgomery early and often, and I think that he can get there in more ways than one. So give me the higher on his fantasy points. All right, Mr. Derek, who is your first pick?
My first pick, Brandon Cooks to go over 36.5 receiving yards. He's had a couple bigger games as of late, and he definitely balled out the last time he was in a division game against the Giants. So I like Brandon Cooks to get some action. I think he should do pretty well on Thursday. And then I like George Kittle as well to get in the end zone. However he does it, rushing, receiving, it doesn't really matter. But I like him to get in the end zone somehow. The last 2 times that he's played against Seattle, he scored 2 touchdowns. So 2 games, 4 touchdowns in the last 2. He's also, I think, scored in the last couple games, the last couple weeks. So Kittle to score would be my second pick. He's also.
All right, I love it. I love it. So we got Brandon Cooks there, higher than 36.5 receiving yards, and we have George Kittle over a rush or receiving touchdown. Kittle particularly has been well against Seattle. He kind of owns them there, so I really like the Kittle play. And Cooks, against a very, very poor and beat-up Washington secondary, should get there easily. The last play to go ahead and make this cash is Raheem Mostert, running back for the Miami Dolphins, higher than 59.5 rushing yards. It's a situation where Devon Achane, as great as he's been, he re-injured his knee last week. And I think at this point, it's pretty doubtful that he does play. Even if he does play, he'll be limited in snaps. Going up against a stout Jets defense, but I do expect Miami to play with the lead, to lean on Mostert. He's going to purely get there by volume, although I think he can pop one. You saw last week, the Bills were able to kind of run up and down on that Jets defense. They're going to be on the field a lot. You got Tim Boyle starting. I mean, honestly, what can we expect from a guy that threw more interceptions than touchdowns in college? I think that, this is a situation where Mostert is going to have a field day, especially with no A-chain to back him up there. All right, so all you got to do is head over to Underdog, put those 4 plays together with the spicy George Kittle touchdown, and that pays 12.5 to 1. $10 pays $125. So that is your daily DGen prescription of the day. Before we sign off here, we got a couple questions that we're going to get to really quickly. Looks like we've got 0.5 PPR. Looks like it's a trade situation. So we got Hurts, Kincaid, Olave, and Saquon for CMC, Kupp, Pittman. All right, we got a whole team trade here. So let's see. We got Hurts, Kincaid, and Olave, and Saquon for CMC, Kupp, and Pittman. All right. What are your thoughts there, Derek? Can you see that? We got. Let's break it down. What are your thoughts there, Derek? Can you see that? You're giving up.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to piece all this together, being a half a roster trade here. I would probably roll with that.
Here's my thoughts. So I like the upgrade on CMC and Kupp. I think Kupp over Olave, and I do like Pittman as well. I think the fact that you have Kyler makes this doable. If you didn't have someone like Kyler, I would probably stay away. But the fact that you have Kyler and McBride makes me say that, yes, I think this trade is an upgrade. What are your thoughts there, Derek? If you didn't have someone like Kyler, I would probably stay away. But the fact that you have McBride makes me say that, yes, I think this trade is an upgrade. What are your thoughts there, Derek? If you didn't have someone like Kyler, I would probably stay away.
I would probably agree with that. Yeah, I mean, with Kyler's ability to run even after his injury, he's definitely a viable play. The upgrade for CMC,
I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, over Saquon, probably is going to be the best towards the end of the season. Kupp and Kupp over Olave. I would tend to agree with that, especially with connecting them with Puka.
Yeah,
like that.
All right, there we go, Mr. Raphael. We would say yes to that trade. Go ahead and take that and find yourself to a nice dub this week. Jamie is agreeing with our pick there with Brandon Cooks as far as Washington allowing top 5 points to receivers and 70% there. So I love the cosign there, Jamie. All right, so obviously, y'all, first episode, so appreciate you fighting through it with us with a little bit of audio issues. We will obviously clean that up on our end, but we appreciate y'all riding with us. Again, you know what makes up for that? A nice little 12.5 to 1 cash. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's have a great Thanksgiving. And before we get out of here, let's say that, hey, if you head on over to the SGPN merch store in honor of Veterans Day, SGPN is still supporting that. If you use the promo code VETS, you will go ahead and get 10% off on your purchase, and all the proceeds are going to be donated to Mission 22, a nonprofit that is serving those that served. As a service member myself, this is obviously something that I truly, care about. Obviously, you can get you some nice SGPN gear like I got on myself. My co-host has as well. So get you some nice gear, get a discount, and go ahead and help out a veteran. Do something nice as we are grateful this holiday season. We hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And this is us signing off as the Degen Docs, your daily dose of fantasy injury news, but more importantly, winning you guys some cash. All right, from the OG SGPN Doc, myself, and Mr. Professor Locks, we hope you and your family have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, and we are out. Let it ride.